everyone, it's Kimberly and I am back with you for a brand new video. And as previously mentioned, this week I'm going to be talking about my roommate from my first year of university. It wasn't great, to say the least. As mentioned last week, when I was moving to residence, I had originally applied for a single room with its own bathroom. I ended up getting one of my last choices and ended up with a roommate on a shared bathroom floor, which is fine, whatever, you do what you need to. But I had no idea what to expect because I didn't know anyone moving to this university, so I didn't have any friends to pair up with for my room. So I ended up getting randomly matched. And as you probably know, being randomly matched isn't always a great thing just because you don't know the person, you don't know what their personality is, who they're gonna be, if they're clean, if they're messy, if they stay up late, if they wake up early, all these things that you would know if you have a friend that you can apply to live in residence with. My roommate ended up being an international student, so we already had a language barrier situation. We were both pretty shy people, so we didn't really talk or anything or try to really get along. Well, not get along, but hang out together or anything. I would say hi to her when she came into the room, but we would never really talk or anything. I know when I moved in on moving day, she was already there, so I just took the bed that was left for me. Fine, whatever, I don't care. And she was cleaning the whole bed, which to each their own. I'm sure the people who have to set up the rooms already clean them, but that's okay. I came with my mom and my brother. I don't know if she came with anyone because I'm pretty sure she got there before I did. So my mom and my brother are helping me move everything in. I introduced myself to her. I introduced her to my mom and my brother because they're with me, obviously. And sure, everything's fine, whatever. She would go home on weekends, which was really nice because that meant that I had the room to myself, which was kind of great. So other people could come hang out in there and it wouldn't be an issue. And it was good, She did kind of go to bed later than I would have hoped, just because, especially like I mentioned before, I was working during first year and the job that I had was a shipment role, so I had to be there at 6 a.m. So there were some nights that I had to go to bed early because I had to wake up so early. And I don't know, it just kind of seemed like she didn't really respect this. She would stay up super late with her lamp on, with her laptop on, whatever, the light that would just disturb me. And so I would just do my best to turn around, face the wall, fall asleep, whatever. But I could still sometimes hear her clicking on her keyboard and all this other stuff. So it was really hard to fall asleep, especially on those days where I did have to wake up really early. But whatever, that's fine. We didn't really have any verbal issues. It was a lot of just passive aggressiveness, especially on my end, because like I said before, we never really talked. Even when I would go into the room, I would say hi, but she wouldn't usually say hi back to me, which was, in my opinion, kind of rude. My friends that would come over once in a while, not very often at all, she never said hi to them or whatever, even if they said hi to her. So it was just kind of uncomfortable a bit. And yeah, it was just a lot of not talking, not communicating, fine, whatever. That would have been on both of us, but I think the worst was the fact that she would turn the heat up all the way. And we had really old furnaces, so when you opened up the valve all the way, it was one of those ones that it doesn't regulate the temperature, it just keeps going and going and going and pumping out heat. And then I would wake up and she wouldn't even be using a blanket or anything. Meanwhile, I'd be taking off as many covers as I possibly could because I was just so hot. And to me, that kind of seemed really inconsiderate because it was like, you can put it to a temperature that's decent and use your covers because there's only so many layers I can take off compared to the amount of layers that you can put on, you know? And I'm actually pretty sure that because of that, one night she gave me heat stroke because during second semester, like I mentioned, I was staying at my boyfriend's house a lot, but on nights where I would have work the next morning, I would stay in residence because my work was like a 2-minute walk from my school, and so it was obviously just make more sense for me to stay home. And the one night I wake up at 3 a.m., I am absolutely drenched in sweat. I feel so sick. And I text my boyfriend saying, hey, like, I'm really not feeling well. I don't think I'm going to be able to go into work. Like, I feel so bad. Like, and at that point, since it was around winter time, a lot of shifts at my store got cut, especially for shipment people. So I hadn't worked since December, and now it's like March, and I'm feeling so sick. This is the first shift that I would have had back, and I had to work so I could make money, so I could pay for things, and I just wasn't feeling so good, and we're pretty sure I got heat stroke. Anyways, I ended up texting him, and he's like, okay, well, you're gonna come here so I can take care of you and make sure that you're okay. And I was like, I have no way of getting there. Like, it's 3 a.m. The buses have already stopped running. Like, I'll just stay here. It's fine, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm sending an Uber for you so you can come here. And all was fine, whatever. I ended up leaving and going to his place at 3 in the morning. And when I got there, I just really wasn't feeling well. I was really hot. Like, I could not get my temperature down. And I ended up falling asleep, fine, whatever. And then in the morning, when my boyfriend woke up to go to work, I obviously woke up with him, and I still really wasn't feeling well. My temperature was still way too hot, and I ended up trying to eat something, but then like 10 minutes after he left, I ended up throwing up, and it was bad. It was really awkward too because at that time, me and his brother, who also lived here, never really talked or anything, and it's like, I just felt so bad because I was just there getting sick in their washroom. Meanwhile, I think he had to go to school or something, and yeah, so I was just here, not feeling well because I'm pretty sure the temperature in my room finally got to me and really made my body messed up, because even now I can't be too hot or I start feeling so sick so fast. So we're pretty sure because of turning the temperature up the way she did, I got heat stroke, and then I now have a heat sensitivity. And so eventually she kind of, I guess, learned that I don't like the heat up really high. So every time I would come home, she would turn it like right down. And that's fine, whatever. I know there was one day where I was home and I was doing my laundry. And the way our room was set up was you would walk in, and along the back wall was my bed. I had my little mini fridge, which I let her use. And then along the adjacent wall was a little wardrobe where we would have our hang-up clothes, and then like a bin for shoes or whatever we wanted to put in there, and then her bed. And then along the wall where the door was just the door and a little dresser for clothes again. And then in between the dresser and the wall, which had the furnace on it, we had these 2 chairs. And these chairs were flame retardant because they had to be. Our room was small, so they had to be like right up against the furnace basically. And so they were right against the furnace, but that was never an issue or anything. But the one day I was home and I was doing laundry, and I hadn't yet had a chance to put my laundry away, my clean laundry. So I put it on the chair, and I think I went to go get dinner with my friend or something just down the street quickly because we were hungry and it had been a long day, and we needed to get food before the cafeterias closed. So we went and got food or whatever, and then we came back, and after we finished eating, I went upstairs, and there was legitimately a bit of smoke in the air. And that was because some of my clothes were slightly touching the furnace. My clothes are not flame retardant. She had the heat up all the way, and my clothes legitimately were trying to like catch on fire. And that really made me upset because first of all, she knew that I was home, so she knew that I didn't like the heat up really high because it didn't make me feel well. And second of all, she was in the shower at the time, and she had just left the heat on full blast with my clothes still on the chair. I mean, I know I should have put them away right away, but she should have also realized that they were there, you know? I wasn't gonna leave them there forever. I needed to put them away. I just had to go get dinner because I was hungry and the cafeterias were gonna close soon. I don't know, that just really made me upset. On top of the keeping the heat up regardless, and then even to not saying hi to people who would come into the room. It just kind of seemed very like inconsiderate, and like she didn't actually want to get along or anything. I don't know, we kind of just lived together and nothing else really. It was just like a matched roommate situation. Like, it wasn't bad, like we weren't fighting like some people do, but it wasn't great because we had all these little issues and we never really talked about it. I ended up kind of moving here during second semester, so it meant that I like didn't have to see her as often, which was kind of nice because it didn't make sense, our roommate pairing at all. I know me and my one friend, she also had an exchange or an international student from China, just like my roommate. So like we were talking about switching rooms at some point, but like me and her roommate or something, but it never ended up happening because I just was never there during second semester, and even when I was, I dealt with it. I didn't even care at that point. I was just so done. Yeah, but it was like, had I been able to choose my roommate, I think it would have been a much better experience for roommate during first semester. It wasn't bad, like I said, but it was just very annoying, and it just made me want to be there even less. And this really became a safe haven for me, kind of. I didn't have to deal with my housemates that I didn't really like. I didn't have to deal with my roommate. I could just be here with my boyfriend, and I was happy. And I think overall, I wish my residence experience had gone differently, but at the same time, I'm kind of thankful that it went this way that it did, because it taught me a lot about myself overall, and I am where I am now, which I may not have been had I had a different experience, you know? But I am happy where I am right now. I haven't talked to my roommate since I moved out, basically. But I mean, that's the way life goes sometimes. I want to know, like, your guys' experience with roommates and stuff. If you've had really bad experiences or good experiences or what, because I know everyone's experiences are different. So just let me know those down in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess I will see you next time when I post a brand new video. So until next time, guys, bye!